What's going on, folks? I am Goat. Welcome back to Warframe Frame Builds. We are going to do Xaku a little bit different. Since we're coming up on the end of the list here, I have kind of a sacrilegious, funky little build for Xaku. I'm quite sure that many have done something over the subsume that I've got for this kind of sacrilegious build. And the reason that I did it is a couple of things. One, versatility with weapons is a good solid chunk of it. And the other one is that the armor health rescaling really made one of Xaku's abilities not quite as necessary. And I say that with the loosest possible terms, because Xaku's a very, very well synergized frame. Okay? So, yeah. We're going to do a playthrough with this. I'll explain the weapons in a moment, but we're going to go through shards first. So we have ability strength. We have a little equilibrium shard, and then we have max at spawn, and then max at spawn, because especially going into regular missions, max at spawn with Xaku is really, really helpful, because you can basically just immediately kick the fuck off. Again, that's kind of the obvious thing. Those two are super wild cards. Now, for a long period of time, basically, Xaku initially for me was a survivability issue frame for me, so I went for something that gave me more survivability. And I had just subsumed and finished subsuming Haro, and I put Condemn on him. Now, this was a long time ago. This was 3 years ago. So I've been running this, Condemn build for a long time. So we're going to look at the Condemn build. But up at the top, we have Condemn, Pillage, Eclipse, Nourish / Shade, and then Eyes. The Eyes build is an open eyes build. It's functional, but it's, not quite as good as just, using the Lost. So I'm going to go into the obvious one here first. So the Nourish Shade, this is basically just a pure invisibility build. This is basically relying on Grasp of Loke and then Nourish to basically prime viral onto the guns, and then using Shade or Shade Prime with the Ghost Augment to basically, as long as enemies are near you, you are invisible, don't make any offensive functions, because the guns that you steal with Grasp of Loke don't count as offensive function, nor does casting your 4. So, yeah. Like, basically, just as long as there's enemies near you, you're invisible, and you're just murdering them with, the second ability and Nourish. Good time. It's functional, but again, the requirement really comes down to having enemies near you. Otherwise, you're kind of jumping and doing your thing, and it's a really functional and fun build if you are into basically jumping into a crowd and watching people die in very confused ways. Eclipse is literally just a damage reduction build, so it's just, 75% damage reduction for some added survivability. No big deal. It's the same as the Condemn and the Pillage build. Minus the Subsume, obviously. So Condemn. The build for Condemn is pretty damn straightforward. A pretty good amount of range, specifically for the 4 and the 2. Because Condemn, as long as you just have some range, it's good enough. So it really comes down to, how far away can you reach and steal guns, how far away are the guns going to shoot at people, and then how far away are you going to blow up containers with Xaku's 4, because that is an advantageous passive to that shit. Not really a passive, but a secondary function of the 4th ability is to just blow containers open 3 rooms away with him. It's a good time. So Arcane Blessing is on here for the added survivability, coupled with Condemn and basically just constantly building over shields. Energy Siphon, Energy Nexus is very straightforward. Basically run Xeneric. The tank efficiency just will not matter as long as you have at least 150% duration. It's pretty damn hard to run out of energy with Xaku. Now, this is the build that I've been running for a long, long time. What I did is I changed it up, and there's a hiccup with this change-up. I'm going to put it out there right now, because Pillage is the change-up. Pillage suffers from 2 problems. Okay, for one, it requires a metric fuckton of ability strength. We're talking 330% ability strength and corrosive projection to get a pure armor strip right off the get. So we're not using Pillage for armor stripping. We're actually just using it for shield buffing. And if something should happen to survive long enough for a second pulse of Pillage, if required, sure, it'll lose its armor at that point. But this is really just more of a shield buff. Now, why would I do it this way and have Condemn the other way? Because you can't put the same subsume in 2 different locations. Kind of tells you where we're going with this. But Condemn does something that Pillage cannot. Pillage does something that Condemn cannot. Pillage can take armor from, armor or / shields from overguarded enemies. Okay, so that's the bonus to pillage. The bonus to condemn is that, and the negative to pillage is that if something doesn't have defensive capabilities like shields or armor, or you've already armor stripped them, you get nothing for the for the use of the ability. So that is the negative to the kind of double negative to pillage. Condemn, if something has overguard, you cannot see it, therefore you do not get shields from it, but it doesn't have to have defenses because the condemn chaining the enemies to the ground is what gives you the shields. Condemn overall being, albeit it is line of sight to where pillage is more of just a radius, condemn is the more functional against all factions, but pillage works just fine in most circumstances. And it's a fun build because now we get to keep Zada's Whisper. Yes, I got rid of the Lost. Now, just to cover the Lost, the primary function behind the Lost, like Accuse is okay, right? It's okay. Deny is okay. Gaze is really kind of where it's at. It's armor strip. It's, a really massive range, to be able to cast it. It's a large radius, especially if you're building for ability range, which you should be with Xaku. So Gaze inside of the Lost is really kind of the ability that or the part of the ability that most people do focus on. But we can kind of do some silly shit like this instead. Now, the negative to keeping Zada's Whisper, which to this day, I understand, yet I do not understand why in the hell Grasp of Loke doesn't allow for Zada's Whisper to trigger. I understand it because it is kind of double dipping on the same damage type, okay? So because the guns already do void damage, but they don't do a lot, right? So why not let us trigger an additional 58% damage with these guns that are firing? Yes, Xaku can do some damage, but this would be fun, okay? But unfortunately, Grasp of Loke does not get the benefits of Zada's Whisper, but your other weapons do. So there's some interesting combinations. And as you can see, like I said, the Condemn, Pillage, and Eclipse builds, as far as modding, is exactly the same across the board. Not a big deal. So, what we're doing here is, not that. We have a Blast Toxin, and then these should be Blast Toxin, yeah. And then we have a Melee Influence Thalys. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to take Dual Coated Torxica, good set of pistols. They get the job done. Applying Zada's with the Dual Coated Torxica and a Blast Toxin setup, so kind of going back to the Titania mindset, is a good time. A weapon that I am really not a great fan of, the Fenmore, because basically the Fenmore is just a semi-auto, rifle that has no AoE on its Incarnon, and in general has just an absurdly long animation to turn it into an arc gun. That, for lack of a better way to put it, it turns it into a Gatling gun style arc gun. That's all it is. And then the Thalys, again, this thing throws crazy little void shards. Couple all of this with Zada's Whisper. So this is the build that we're going to go show. And I think what we're going to do is probably going to fight Grineer. I thought about doing Murmur, but Murmur's kind of easy, and going to the Void, I'll say it so many times. The reason I don't just go to Mott, which is 140 to 145, is because honestly, I don't like dodge the nullifier or trying to shoot those little robo, shield drones down off of the nullifiers. I just don't. 130 to 140 is more than passable to show a motherfucker what this will do. So we're just going to take this to the Acolyte, and then we'll get the hell out of the mission. See, so we're basically nearly full on energy. One quick pulse and we're really good to go.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support capsules.
Okay, let's go find friends. Okay, so this is charged. Thank God that animation's over with. So now, see if we hit Pillage. We're going to have tons of overshields, right? These guys are all just not liking their life. But, it's just nothing. Just a little, just a little squeeze. They're dead. It's just, not even worried about it. Quick squeeze. Between the void damage coming from the guns that are already hitting these poor bastards. And like I said, if your energy starts running a little bit low, just do a quick Zener pulse. As you can see, the void bubble just triggers around him, but the blast triggers it around even more. So it's just functionally a really funny time. So crowd right there. Oof. Quick just a quick little squinch of the trigger and nighty night. See, just skadoosh. Oh look, a crowd. That is very, very, very good with Xaku. I mean, and it's kind of one of those as you would expect because it is, you know, his fucking ability after all. So we'll do a pillage pulse. Now we'll go to dual code torch. All right, we'll just. I mean, look at this. See, like, and it's like, kind of like I said, the only place where this suffers is if, like, you're going up against infested or already armor-stripped enemies. That's really where the problem lies. Hey, look at these guys. Now, what's funny is that the little cold vial, intermittently, and don't ask me to explain why this is, because the buggy little interactions in Warframe are just kind of their own thing. But the little cold spores that go flying off will sometimes trigger Zadas as well. I don't know why that's a damn thing. Oh, I thought there was a guy behind me. Hey, bud. Oh, I finally have to reload? Cool. And it's just like a skadoosh. When the blast kicks off just the right way. Now, what's funny is I'm going to bring the Thalos into this party. Oh, I heard you. Now, you notice the little void shards that this damn thing throws will also trigger Zadas, which is strange. Granted, most of the time everything pretty much dies from just using an influence Thalos build anyway. Hi, big boy. I mean, like, it's just functional. It's very, very low effort. Hey, bud. Oh. See, the thing of it is like, if you just hit them, let Zadas trigger, and then they explode, you get a good enough crowd, and it just quite literally just surrounds whatever morons around them. So you don't have to sit here and just hold the trigger like a jackass and go nuts. Who's our victim? Oh, Misery? Misery's fucked. I'll just use a Fenmore. I don't even give a shit. I'm gonna kill you first just because you're an asshole. Look at that. Get off me, Misery. Douche. Yeah, whoopity-doo. Like, between just the gun sitting there shooting Misery's stupid ass and then that, it's just like, okay. Hey, fellas. Didn't even hit anything that time. Quick squeeze of the trigger and we're good to go. Oh, I can use you. 8 million year fucking animation. Oh, we love it. Idiot. Okay, you need to die. You're pissing me off.
Keep up the good work.
Okay, so we'll go to extraction. Like, I mean, again, the idea of using condemn, highly functional. If you don't like the idea of using pillage because you're really not using it for its actual primary function, which with Hildren, yes, building shields is its primary function, but with any other frame, see, look at that, every box in the room, just bye-bye. With any other frame, yes, sure, it gives you shields, but, you know, the general idea is that, you know, you throw it onto a frame that you're doing a whole bunch of ability strength with, bingo bongo, you get an armor strip for, you know, for the fun of it. You can quite simply, if you want to keep Zadas, and you're not worried about losing the loss. You can just throw Condemn over the third ability, and it really... Here we come with Oricon code. It's in this bug in a hot minute. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is a really, really fun setup. And you can blast Toxin pretty much any decent weapon in the game, and it's just going to absolutely wreck the shit out of enemies pretty handily. Again, as always, covered in a casual gameplay setting, because you know, you start taking this shit up in levels, and, you know, you really do have to be much more conscious about how much damage the fuckers are doing and everything else. So, lots of things apply. But from a casual standpoint, this is a very, very fun setup. So I leave you with that information as you know, as it stands, and thank you very much for watching. As always, we'll catch you in the next one, all right?